All right, today we've got something a little different. It's a math lesson plan. But hang on, before you think about skipping, trust me, this is not your average worksheet. This is really about how we teach things. We've managed to get our hands on this document for a 6th grade math class, and its approach is, well, you're about to see just how unique it is.
So let's just jump right in with the central puzzle of this whole thing. What on earth do ancient scrolls and negative numbers have in common? I know, it sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, right? But it's not. This question is actually the key to unlocking the entire teaching philosophy behind this lesson.
So yeah, we're diving into a really different kind of math. We're going to investigate this unique lesson plan. And what we have here, specifically, is a 6th grade math lesson from week 6, day 2. The topic? Connecting models to addition algorithms. So let's break this thing down, piece by piece, and see what makes it tick.
All right, so what's the secret sauce here? The lesson is all about teaching with parables. That's the core philosophy, and it's laid out right from the start. It's all about using stories to teach math.
And here it is, straight up. The lesson plan just comes right out and says it. This is like how Jesus used parables to explain spiritual concepts in simple terms. I mean, wow. It's not hinting at it, it's the mission statement. They're taking a teaching style straight from theology and plugging it into a math class. The whole goal, you can see, is to make these abstract numbers, positive and negative integers, feel real and easy to grasp by wrapping them in these simple stories.
Okay, so theory is one thing, right? But what does this actually look like when the rubber hits the road? Let's see how these stories play out on a number line. This is where we get to see the philosophy put into practice.
Okay, example 1. Here we go. We've got Elijah, and he has, it says here, +7 scrolls. Then he finds 4 more. Super straightforward, right? A basic addition problem, but see how it's framed? It's a simple story about a guy finding some stuff.
And then the lesson breaks it down into the actual math steps. Step 1, start at +7. Step 2, add +4. He's taking that little story and turning it right into the algorithm. Nice and simple. And boom, you follow the story, you follow the steps, and you get 11. Elijah has 11 scrolls. So, okay, the system works perfectly for adding 2 positive numbers. But what about when things get a little tricky? What happens when negative numbers enter the picture? Aha! Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Example 2 brings in Daniel. He's starting at -5. And notice the shift. We're not talking about collecting scrolls anymore. The story has changed. Now it's about moving up and down a number line.
And this is the key, right? It's all about how you visualize it. The instructions are simple. First, you find -5 on the number line. Then, you just follow the story. It says he moves up 6, which just means you count 6 spots in the positive direction. The story is literally a set of directions for using the number line.
So you follow that path. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and where do you land? +1. So there it is. The story worked again, giving us a super clear, visual way to get to the right answer.
Okay, one more test for this whole parable idea. Let's talk about Joseph. He's already at -2 on the number line, and now he's going to add -4. So how do you even picture adding a negative? What does that look like?
Well, turns out the story model handles this just fine. You start where Joseph is, at -2, and adding a -4, the story just frames that as moving 4 more steps in the negative direction. You're just going deeper, to the left on the number line.
And that move lands him squarely on -6. So check it out. The story-driven parable approach has worked for all 3 scenarios: positive plus positive, negative plus positive, and now negative plus negative. Pretty effective, huh?
But then, there's this. Tucked right in here after all the addition problems is this random rule for multiplication. A negative times a positive equals a negative. It has nothing to do with anything we've just seen. Is it a mistake? A typo? Or maybe it's a little Easter egg, a hint of what's coming next week. Who knows, but it's a curious little detail for sure.
All right, so after the examples, it's time for homework. Let's see how the students are supposed to practice and reinforce these concepts.
So here they are, the 5 homework problems, complete with the answers straight from the lesson plan. And you can see it's more of the same, which is exactly the point. We've got Elijah back, but this time he's dealing with loaves of bread. And look at Mary's problem, starting at -3 and adding -4. It's a direct callback to the Joseph example. It's all about repetition, just drilling those models we just learned.
And the lesson doesn't just trail off with the homework problems. Nope, it comes full circle. It's bookended with one last thought, a final piece of wisdom that really ties the whole thing together.
And this is how it ends, with a quote from the book of James. "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." So you see, it's not just about getting the right answer to a math problem. The whole lesson is framed as something bigger. It's connecting the search for mathematical understanding to a broader search for wisdom, tying it all back into a spiritual context.
So, when you take a step back and look at this whole thing, it leaves you with a really big question. And it's not about math. It's about learning anything. It doesn't matter if it's math or science or history. To really make an idea stick, to really teach it, how much does the story you tell around it really matter? Something to think about.